I know the title of this video might offend some people. I'm not trying to say that your chronic illness isn't real and that it's all in your head or it's just anxiety or that you created it with your negative thoughts. I do think your illness is real and that your symptoms are real, whether or not you have a diagnosis. But I think for a lot of us, the reason that we haven't recovered from certain illnesses is because of our really negative thought patterns and not knowing how to regulate our nervous system and just being in constant states of stress. And so that's kind of what this video is about, how to become a more positive person and how to have healthier thought patterns so that you are able to get yourself out of a stress state in order to recover from chronic illness. Because there is a really strong connection between chronic illness and stress. A lot of people with health problems have grown up in really stressful, chaotic environments, and maybe we end up continuing to seek out chaotic environments as a result. You might have had abusive or absent parents. You might be really insecure. You might feel like you were abandoned, or you had to take care of yourself, or you had to grow up really fast and you just had no one else to take care of you. And you might have felt like you had to walk on eggshells and maybe repress your emotions or repress parts of your personality in order to feel safe in your home environment. I think that a lot of people with health problems, we tend to be overly empathetic, always putting other people first, and people who feel like a lot of guilt and shame and really feel attuned to the needs and emotions of others and really affected by the emotions of others. And that's probably a result of having to do that in order to be safer in whatever environment you were in. But I think it can create a lot of distress in the body and can contribute to not being able to recover from illness. You might be a people pleaser and find yourself drawn to people who maybe have some narcissistic traits, or people who are abusive, or you might have in the past, and you might repress your emotions a lot. And maybe you just grew up in some way that makes you feel very insecure, like you're not worthy, like you're not good enough. And as a result, you put others first, or you feel like you have to overcompensate for whatever your flaws are, and you're not able to accept the negative parts of yourself and integrate them in a healthy way. I think that these are things that a lot of people with chronic illnesses tend to have in common because it creates this dysregulation of the nervous system. It creates these negative thought patterns, and when you can't get your emotions out of your body in a healthy way and you're just repressing everything and keeping it all bottled in, it's going to have a negative effect on your health. From what I've learned, you can heal really from anything. It just comes down to being able to regulate your nervous system and to get your body into a state where it's able to heal. And I say this because I'm sick, because I'm neurotic and insecure, and that's something I realized about myself. And that's not to say that I don't have Lyme disease, that I don't have chronic Epstein-Barr virus, that I don't have mold toxicity, but I think that maybe there's someone out there who had all of these same issues and maybe recovered from it because they had a healthier mindset and were better at coping with their emotions and coping with stress. And so again, I'm not trying to say that it's all in your head and it's just anxiety and your illness isn't real, but I'm just trying to say that you can heal, and that maybe part of what has been preventing you from recovery is your own mindset. So how do you stop being this person? I think a big part of it is just changing your behaviors to kind of train your brain and body to feel the way you want to feel, and just kind of teaching your body the person you want to be and the way you want to see yourself by acting as if and by engaging in the right behaviors. For example, if you're a people pleaser and you always put other people's needs above yourself, you are constantly affirming to yourself that you are below others, that you are not worthy of better treatment, and this is going to constantly affirm to your brain that you are insecure and that you're not a confident person. And so by starting to put yourself first and always asking yourself, do I really want to be doing this? Do I really want to be doing this thing? Or am I just doing it to make someone happy? Do I even like this person, or do I just want them to like me? And really just becoming aware of those things and learning to put yourself first. And I know that it's really uncomfortable at first to say no to things or to feel like you're letting people down, but you really just have to do it. And once you do it, you'll realize how much it changes your life in a positive way, because people who are narcissists and people who don't have the best intentions are really good at picking up on people who don't have healthy boundaries and people who are pushovers, people pleasers, and they will really seek those people out and find them. And that's probably why you maybe find yourself with a lot of those people surrounding you. And once you start to set boundaries and not allow that type of behavior and that type of treatment, and to not allow these people in your life, you're gonna attract way different people, and you're gonna end up pushing away all the people who are having a negative impact on your life. Obviously there's a balance between like being a selfish person, but I think you can worry about that later if you're like really far from it and you're just a people pleaser. But once you can do it and you set these boundaries, it's like the universe like sees those boundaries and is like, okay, this is what they're gonna accept, so I'm gonna send them something better that they will accept. And I swear, like, you'll just see how much your life changes like right in front of your eyes by just actually setting boundaries, and the people that come into your life are gonna be so different. Another thing that's really important is not repressing your emotions. I think we're meant to have our emotions like move through us in a healthy way. We're meant to express them, and when you're not expressing them, it's kind of staying trapped in your body and it's contributing to illness. I noticed that my emotions are really delayed, and when something like really horrible would happen, I would just really dissociate and become numb and really not be able to feel much until like much after the event. And then I would find myself like randomly crying or even being depressed for like months or years at a time during times where my life was like totally okay and good. And I just feel like my emotions were really delayed, and I had this really unhealthy relationship with them. And it's hard to heal from something if you're not ever able to feel it. And I think this can happen as a result of having to repress your emotions. Like if you have, you know, a lot of negative emotions, a lot of negative things going on, and then you have to go to school or work and act normal and not be crying all the time. Obviously you're gonna learn to repress your emotions. Or if you feel like you're in a home where it's not safe for you to express your emotions or to be yourself, and you're better off just like making yourself really small, then obviously that's gonna train your body and your brain to not express your emotions and to not express yourself, and that it isn't safe to be yourself. And at one point it was probably helpful to you, probably beneficial to your survival, but now it's not. So it's probably gonna take time, but what you wanna do is when you do feel an emotion or when you do feel like you need to cry, actually let yourself cry, actually let yourself sit with the emotion, and don't try to distract yourself or try to run away from it or try to logically think your way out of it. Actually let yourself feel this emotion in that moment and let yourself cry or talk to someone about it or journal or create art. All of these things are really great ways to move your emotions through your body and out of your body. And so it's really just about constantly training yourself and letting yourself feel your emotions as they happen. And over time, you'll develop a healthier relationship with them where your body feels like it's safe to express them, feel them, and then move on like a normal timeline. And this is something I've been working on for years, and I haven't felt dissociated in a very, very long time. And I still have moments where like I don't want to cry in front of people and stuff, and I kind of repress my emotions, but for the most part I really try to let myself feel them. And it's crazy because I cry like pretty easily now, whereas like before I really like didn't show emotions in a normal way. Like I cry watching movies pretty easily, and so it's kind of uncomfortable, it's kind of weird, but I don't like cry in public all the time or anything, but I definitely just like will cry in the moment if something bad is happening to me, and I used to not be like that at all. But I think overall it's like really a lot healthier. I know that building confidence can be really hard. I think it really can be helpful just to act as if and to do the things that the confident version of you would do. You know, go after whatever goals that the most confident version of you would do, and treat yourself the way you would treat yourself if you were confident. And you know, it kind of goes back to being a people pleaser and setting healthy boundaries. You just want to, you know, treat yourself well and see your value and treat yourself as worthy even before you feel that way, because if you start to treat yourself that way, it's going to really help you feel that way. And as you start to do the things that scare you and realize that you're capable of them, it's going to build confidence as well. It's also important to forgive yourself and to accept the bad parts of yourself as well, and not just try to make yourself this perfect person and only accept the best parts of yourself. It's really about learning to accept even the worst parts of yourself that you don't want to admit to yourself, or that you don't want other people to see, or that you haven't forgiven yourself for. I want you to think of a horrible person that you don't like. And I really believe that if you had their exact life, their exact upbringing, all of their life experiences, you would end up exactly the same as them and you would make exactly the same choices as them, because I really just believe that we're a product of our environments and that we are who we are because of the life experiences that we have, and that if you had someone else's life, you would make the same choices as them because you really wouldn't know any better. And so that kind of helps me to have empathy for myself and also for everyone, because I really do truly believe that if you were in someone else's shoes and you had their exact life, you would make the same choices as them. And so you should forgive yourself, because sometimes you don't know any better and you're just doing the best with what you can, and you should strive to become a better person and to make better choices, but it's okay to make mistakes. I mean, we're not like this perfect species that is never supposed to make mistakes. It's literally a part of life. We are supposed to make mistakes and we're supposed to learn from them, and mistakes are really powerful and a really important part of life, and it's okay to learn and grow. And so I hope that you're able to forgive yourself, because I really believe anyone who had your exact life, who was in your shoes, they would have made the same mistakes as you. Hopefully you learned from it and you can become a better person because of it. And that's what life is really about. I saw this video that was basically saying that people who have like more psychopath tendencies, they won't like stress about a health issue as much or really like read into one little symptom, and so they won't end up like getting sicker from it. Whereas people who are more neurotic are obviously worriers and obsessing about things, and that will kind of spiral into it becoming a bigger issue than it needed to. And I would definitely say I was a neurotic person for most of my life. I have a lot of like obsessive thoughts and intrusive thoughts and lots of worrying about the future. And I know maybe you've lived a life where you feel like the rug just always gets pulled out from under you, and maybe you want to like imagine every scenario and feel prepared for it, but it's not serving you to imagine all of the worst case scenarios, and it's not helping you be better prepared for them either. So stop wasting so much of your time worrying about the future. There was a study that found that 90% of the things that people worry about never actually came true, and that when it did, 75% of people said they handled it better than they thought they would. And I always just think about all the times in my life that I've wasted worrying about the future, and really everything ended up working out, and how I just kind of like caused all these negative emotions for no reason, just thinking about the future. But now I don't feel like a neurotic person at all. I have negative thoughts like 1% of the time. I really don't worry about anything. I just feel super grateful and trust that everything is gonna work out. And what has really helped me the most, I think, is meditation. I like to do gratitude meditations or healing visualization meditations twice a day, and it has really changed my mind so much. I also think it can be helpful to listen to affirmations or subliminals, and I'm gonna make a video on how to make your own personalized subliminals or affirmations for whatever like specific issues or negative thoughts that you have, because I think it can be really helpful to actually personalize them to yourself. But if you don't want to do all that, you can obviously just find a bunch of them on YouTube. I think it can be really helpful to help plant positive thoughts in your brain, because if you're only hearing negative things either from yourself or from others, then obviously that's just going to be what you're outputting as well. I think of the future possibilities of our life as like this roulette wheel, and every thought that you have is a part of the roulette wheel. And so if it's filled with all these negative things, then it's always going to land on a negative outcome. But the more that you can fill it with positivity and have positive beliefs and have hope for the future, I think eventually it gets to a point where the only option is a positive outcome if you're able to think positively enough. And I don't want you to be scared if you are a really negative person. There have been a lot of times where only like 5% of me believes in a positive outcome, and that still ends up happening. I do think we have the power to ensure a positive outcome if we're able to think positively all the time. And it's just gonna make you so much happier and enjoy your life so much more as you're going through it, because it's really about feeling happy during it and not like waiting for a certain outcome or manifesting a certain outcome. The goal is really to feel content and happy and grateful for your life, however it is. And gratitude is so powerful. Practicing gratitude as much as you can is really gonna retrain your brain and really change the way that you look at life and that you look at yourself. and it's really going to be beneficial to your health and your happiness. Also, another way to build up confidence and to feel like you're worthy is to take good care of yourself, because that's what you would do for someone that you care about and that you value. So make sure that you're getting enough rest, make sure you're eating enough food, eat healthy meals as much as you can, and yeah, just really be kind to yourself and take care of yourself how you would if you really valued and cared about someone, because that's going to teach your subconscious that you are valuable and you are worthy, and that's going to help you build confidence and not be so insecure. I know that when you're having really distressing symptoms that are really interfering with your life, obviously you want to find out what's going on with you. Obviously you want to get answers, and I can't really speak on other countries, but I know in America doctors are just trained to match a prescription drug to your symptoms. They're just trained to give you something to mask your symptoms, even if it's ultimately going to make your disease or symptoms worse, or even if it's going to have negative side effects. That's just their job, and that's what they're trained to do. It's just to give you pharmaceuticals that will alleviate your current symptom. And I think a lot of us, I know I personally really want to heal the root cause of my illness, and I really want to actually be healthy. I don't want to just be masking the symptoms and then be getting new symptoms and then taking more drugs that make me feel weird and that have weird side effects. And I know it can be kind of depressing and discouraging when you realize how bad our healthcare system is, but I really do think that you have all the tools that you need to heal inside of you. So don't let that discourage or upset you. You don't need to be Googling all your symptoms. You don't need to be trying to find a diagnosis. You just need to regulate your nervous system, get your stress levels down, and to change the way you think. Stop thinking so negatively and start to feel grateful and hopeful about your life again. And it's really gonna help you heal. Try to just fill yourself with gratitude and with positive experiences and enjoy your life. And let yourself take up space and show up as your most authentic self, and just know that you are good enough as you are. And the more that you're able to do these things, the more that you are going to heal your illness and that your symptoms are going to improve. There is not a single negative experience that has to hold you back unless you let it. You can choose to view your life as this traumatic, horrible series of events that have happened to you and that have made you a certain way and that are preventing you from becoming the person you want to be. Or you can see all of those things as a positive and take the lessons from them and realize that it doesn't matter what happened in the past, and you are capable of doing anything no matter what has happened to you. Nothing has to hold you back unless you let it. All that matters is the present and the future. And if you can look back at your life and try to turn it all into a positive and try to see it all as a learning lesson, and maybe it's going to help you be more empathetic and be more understanding of others and be able to help others, or it's going to help you to get your dream career or your dream life, or to learn to be confident. All of it is going to help you to learn and grow and become the person that you were meant to become in this lifetime, and you don't have to let any of it hold you back or limit you. I promise you, if you're able to become grateful for your past and see it as a positive thing, you're gonna be such a happier, healthier person.